The sun was just rising over the wide western land, spreading a soft golden light across dry grass and open soil. A quiet breeze moved through the plains, and the world felt slow and peaceful. At that hour, a cowboy named Tom rode his old brown horse across the field. Tom lived alone in a small wooden house far from town. He had no family nearby and no grand plans. His life was simple. Each day he checked fences, looked after a few cattle, and made sure no animals were hurt or in trouble. It was a life he chose because he liked the calm and the space around him. Tom was a man who paid attention to small sounds, so when he heard something strange that morning he stopped at once. At first he thought it was only wind moving through the grass, but then he heard it again. It was a weak cry, a sound filled with fear and sadness. His horse lifted its ears, showing it heard it too. Tom narrowed his eyes and listened more carefully. The sound came again. It was soft but sharp in emotion. He turned his horse toward it and urged the animal forward at a slow walk. Tom did not want to scare whatever was crying. The sound grew clearer as he approached a group of bushes near a dry creek line. Tom climbed down from the saddle and tied the reins to a branch. He moved slowly toward the bushes, pushing them aside with gentle hands. Then he froze. On the ground lay a small donkey foal no taller than his knees. Its body trembled with each breath. Its legs looked thin and weak. Its face was dirty with dust and tears. Right beside the foal lay the still body of an adult donkey. The mother was gone. Her eyes were closed, and her body no longer moved with breath. Tom felt a heavy feeling in his chest. He had seen animals die before, but something about this small foal made the moment harder. The little one nudged the mother with its nose as if hoping she would stand. When nothing happened, the foal gave a heartbreaking cry, full of fear and confusion. Tom knelt down slowly. The foal stepped back, its ears pulled low, but it did not try to run. It was too tired and too frightened to go anywhere. Tom kept his hands low and spoke in a calm voice. "It is all right, little one. I am here to help." The foal blinked, watching him with wide, wet eyes. Tom reached for his canteen and poured a small amount of water into his hand. He held his hand out so the foal could see he meant no harm. The young donkey hesitated, then took a shaky step forward. Its lips touched Tom's palm. It drank the water quickly but with caution. When it finished, it looked at Tom again. The fear had not fully left its eyes, but a tiny bit of trust had begun to grow. Tom turned his head to look at the mother. She had no wounds, no signs of a violent struggle. He guessed she had fallen sick or simply grown old and weak. It happened sometimes. Life on the plains was not easy for animals without a herd or human care. Tom stood up and brushed dust from his knees. He looked down at the foal. This young animal had no chance alone. It was too small, too weak, and too scared. The wild was unforgiving for a creature that could not defend itself. Tom sighed softly, knowing the truth. If he left the foal there, it would not last even one more day. He walked toward his horse. The foal watched him but did not move at first. Tom wondered if it would stay by the mother, unable to leave. But then he heard small hooves stepping through the dry grass. The foal was following him, slow but determined. Tom turned and crouched down again. He reached out and placed a gentle hand on the foal's head. The soft fur under his hand made him feel something warm inside. "You want to come with me, little one?" The foal leaned into his hand, seeking comfort. That small action settled Tom's decision. He carefully lifted the foal into his arms. Its body was light, too light for a young animal. The foal rested its head against his chest, as if it understood that safety had arrived. Tom carried the foal to his horse and placed it across the saddle in front of him. The horse shifted slightly, unsure at first, but Tom gave a calming pat to its shoulder. He mounted the saddle and kept one arm around the foal to hold it steady. As Tom guided his horse toward home, the foal rested more and more weight on him. It was clear the little one was exhausted. The long morning sun warmed them both as they traveled across the open field. Tom felt the foal breathe against him. Each breath was small and tired, but at least the foal was no longer alone. Tom spoke softly as they rode. "Your life changed today, little one. Looks like mine did too." When Tom reached his small wooden house, he pulled his horse to a stop. The area around his home was quiet and peaceful. A simple barn stood beside the house. A few chickens wandered near the door, and a small water trough sat under a tree. It was not a grand home, but it was warm and safe. Tom lifted the foal carefully from the saddle and carried it inside the barn. The barn smelled of hay and wood. The air inside felt cooler and calm. Tom laid the foal on a bed of dry straw and ran his hand over its head. "You are safe now. No one will hurt you here." The foal looked up at him with a tired expression. Its breathing slowed as the fear began to fade. Tom left for a moment and returned with a small bucket of warm milk. He had raised animals before, so he knew what young ones needed. He held the bucket near the foal. It sniffed the milk, then began to drink. The sight made Tom smile. While the foal drank, Tom worked around the barn to make a proper space for it. He placed more clean straw, set a water bowl nearby, and made sure the area was secure. As he worked, he kept looking back at the foal. Something about this little creature made him feel responsible in a way he had not felt for a long time. When the foal finished drinking, it tried to stand. Its legs shook, but Tom placed a hand under its side to help. The foal leaned against him and managed to stay up. It pressed its head gently against Tom's leg, seeking comfort like a child would from someone they trusted. Tom crouched down again. "I will take care of you, little one. You do not have to be scared anymore." The foal made a soft sound that felt like an answer. Tom stepped outside the barn and looked at the wide land around him. The loss of the mother still weighed heavy on his heart, but he knew he had done the right thing. The foal had a chance now, and maybe Tom had gained something too, something he did not know he needed until that moment. As he closed the barn door, he looked back one more time. The foal lay curled in the straw, eyes finally closing in rest. Tom saw a calmness in its small body that had not been there in the morning. The day was not over yet, but everything had already changed for both of them. The next morning came with a soft blue sky and cool air drifting across the land. Tom stepped out of his small house and stretched his arms. He had not slept much because he kept thinking about the little foal resting in his barn. He wondered if it had slept or if it was still scared and confused. The image of the foal crying beside its mother stayed in his mind. Through the whole night, Tom took a slow breath and walked toward the barn. His boots made light thuds on the dry ground. When he opened the barn door, a warm smell of hay and wood filled his nose. The light found the small shape of the foal lying in the straw. At first, Tom worried that something was wrong because the foal did not move, but then the little one lifted its head and blinked at him. Tom felt relief wash through him. He knelt down at the entrance and smiled. "Good morning, little one. I hope you slept well." The foal tried to stand, but its legs wobbled under its weight. It managed to take a few shaky steps before leaning against the wooden side of the barn. Tom walked slowly and placed a steadying hand under the foal's side. The young donkey pressed close to him, calm now that he was near. Tom brought a small bucket of warm milk again. He held it steady while the foal drank. The drinking was slow but strong enough to show that the foal was gaining a bit of strength. After finishing, it lifted its head and nudged Tom gently, almost like a thank you. Tom let out a warm breath and rubbed the soft fur behind the foal's ear. "You are a brave little one. We will make you strong again." Tom noticed how thin the foal still looked. Its ribs showed a little, and its legs were far too skinny. He knew it would take many days of care before the young donkey could walk without fear of falling. But he was ready for the work. Something about the foal made him feel responsible in a deeper way than he expected. After feeding time, Tom returned to the house for his own breakfast. He sat at his small wooden table, eating bread and eggs while thinking about the foal. He had lived alone for years. The silence of his home had always been a friend to him, but today it felt different. He kept listening for a sound from the barn, as if the foal needed him every moment. When he finished eating, he stepped outside again. The sun had risen higher, warming the land. Tom returned to the barn and found the foal resting again. This time when he approached, the little donkey lifted its head quickly, ears standing tall. The familiar sight of Tom seemed to comfort it. Tom sat down beside the foal and let it sniff his hand. "You need a name, little one." The foal blinked at him. Tom looked at the soft gray fur and the long ears. The little one was small but strong at heart. After thinking a moment, he said, "I will call you Sunny. You came into my life with the morning sun and you bring a warm feeling with you." The foal made a small gentle sound as if it accepted the name. Tom felt a light happiness inside his chest. He had not named an animal in a long time. For the rest of the morning, Tom cleaned the barn and made sure Sunny had everything needed. He swept the floor, checked the hay, and made fresh water available. While he worked, Sunny watched him with curious eyes. Every time he walked past, Sunny tried to reach out and touch him with its nose. When Tom finished the chores, he decided it was time to let Sunny try walking outside. The open air would help the young donkey grow stronger, and sunshine was good for health. He opened the barn door wider and walked out into the open yard. Then he looked back and waited. That Sunny stood at the door, unsure. The world outside was big. It was brighter, wider, and filled with more sound. For a moment the foal hesitated. Then it took one slow step, then another. Tom held out his hand and smiled. "Come on, Sunny, I am right here." Sunny moved forward and reached Tom's side. The foal pressed its head against Tom's hip. Tom placed a gentle hand on the foal's back and led it toward a grassy patch near the barn. Sunny sniffed the ground, ears twitching at each new sound and smell. A bird flew overhead and Sunny jumped a little, but Tom was there to steady it. The foal soon relaxed and began to nibble on the grass. Tom watched with a warm feeling of joy. One day ago, Sunny had been crying beside a mother who would never wake again. Now the little one was safe, fed, and learning to trust again. It was a small victory, but it meant something important. Tom stayed outside with Sunny for a long time. Sometimes he spoke softly to the foal, telling stories of the land, the weather, and the quiet life they now shared. Sunny listened in silence, but the gentle look in the foal's eyes showed comfort. As time passed, Sunny grew bold enough to take a few steps away. The foal explored a little, sniffing chickens and peeking at Tom's old tools leaning against the barn wall. Now and then Sunny stepped too far and felt unsure. Each time the foal hurried back to Tom for safety. Tom would pat its head and speak softly until the fear faded. By midday the sun grew strong. Tom decided Sunny needed rest again. He guided the foal back inside the barn where the shade offered relief from the heat. Sunny settled in the straw almost at once, closing its eyes with a long, slow breath. The foal trusted Tom completely now. Tom leaned against the barn door and watched Sunny sleep. He felt something unusual inside him, a kind of warmth he had not felt in a long time. He had taken care of animals his whole life, but none had touched him the way Sunny did. Maybe it was because Sunny had lost everything. Maybe it was because Tom himself lived with a kind of quiet loneliness that he never admitted out loud. Seeing Sunny rest peacefully made him feel like he had gained something important. Later in the afternoon, Tom went into town to buy supplies. He needed more milk for Sunny, stronger feed, and a few things to fix the barn fence. When he reached the small store, the owner looked up in surprise. "You look busy today." "Tom, something special happening." Tom gave a small smile. "Found a little foal out on the field. Poor thing lost its mother. Brought it home." The store owner nodded with sympathy. "That is kind of you, Tom. Young ones need care. If anyone can save it, you can." Don bought everything he needed and returned home as fast as he could. He did not want Sunny to feel alone for too long. When he opened the barn door, he saw Sunny sitting up, ears twitching excitedly at the sight of him. "I am back, little one. Miss me that much?" Sunny stepped forward and nudged Tom's leg. Tom laughed gently and began preparing fresh milk. The foal drank eagerly, full of trust and comfort. As evening arrived, the sky turned orange and purple. Tom sat beside Sunny in the barn. The foal rested its head on his knee. The moment felt peaceful and complete. It was strange how quickly the young donkey had become a part of his life. Tom looked at Sunny and spoke in a low, warm voice. "Your life was filled with pain yesterday, but you are safe now, and I will stay by your side." Sunny's body relaxed completely at those words. Tom felt the same calm. For the first time in years, the cowboy did not feel alone. The days that followed brought small but steady changes to both Tom and Sunny. Each sunrise marked another step in their growing bond. Sunny was no longer weak enough to fall after every few steps. The foal still walked slowly, but the shaky fear in its legs had begun to fade. Tom noticed the change and felt proud of the young donkey, almost like a father watching a child learn to stand strong. On the third morning after bringing Sunny home, Tom opened the barn door and found the foal standing tall with ears lifted high. Sunny gave a quick happy sound when Tom stepped inside. Tom placed his hand on the foal's neck and smiled. "Look at you. You are stronger today." Sunny rubbed its face against Tom's shoulder. That simple gesture made the cowboy feel warm inside. Tom filled a small bucket with warm milk and set it down. Sunny drank with more energy than ever. After feeding, the foal moved around the barn with curious steps, sniffing every corner as though exploring a new world. Tom cleaned the barn while Sunny wandered about. Every few moments the foal returned to Tom's side as if to check that he was still there. Tom looked down at Sunny and spoke in a gentle tone. "I am not going anywhere, little one." After finishing the chores, Tom opened the barn door for Sunny to walk outside. The sunlight poured onto the foal's gray fur. Sunny stepped out and looked around with wide, bright eyes. The open yard felt less scary now. Sunny trotted a few steps forward, then a few more. For the first time since Tom found the foal, Sunny took a short run, tail flicking behind. Tom laughed softly, filled with the simple joy of watching the young donkey play. Sunny ran in a small circle, then turned back toward Tom with excitement. The foal bumped its head gently against Tom's arm, almost proud of its small accomplishment. Life began to settle into a new rhythm. Each morning Tom fed Sunny, cleaned the barn, and made sure the foal walked outside for fresh air. Sunny followed Tom everywhere. Whether Tom checked the fence, repaired tools, or fed chickens, Sunny stayed close. Sometimes the foal stood so near that Tom almost tripped over it. After a while he got used to having a little shadow behind him. One afternoon Tom was fixing a wooden wheel outside the house. Sunny watched, head tilted, trying to understand what Tom was doing. When Tom picked up a hammer, Sunny stepped closer and sniffed it. Tom chuckled. "Curious little one. You want to help?" Sunny nudged the wheel gently as if giving assistance. Tom knew the foal had no idea what he was doing, but the attempt made him smile. In the quiet land where Tom lived, smiles were not common. But Sunny had changed that. Later that same day, Tom took Sunny to a small grassy field behind the barn. It was the first time he planned to let the foal walk a little farther from the house. He wanted Sunny to feel brave, but safe. He sat on a small wooden stump and watched as Sunny explored the open space. The young donkey sniffed flowers, kicked at the grass, and looked up at the sky as birds flew overhead. At one point a loud crow squawked from a nearby tree. Sunny jumped with surprise and ran straight toward Tom. The foal pressed its body close to him. Tom placed a gentle hand on Sunny's back. "Easy, little one. It is only a bird. You are safe with me." Sunny stayed pressed against him for a while. Tom felt the small heartbeat against his side and understood how deeply the young donkey trusted him. It was a new feeling, a quiet, steady responsibility that warmed his heart. As days passed, Sunny's health improved. The foal ate more, walked more, and even played by kicking soft clumps of grass toward Tom. The cowboy often pretended to act surprised, which made Sunny run around in excitement. Watching Sunny grow stronger brought a sense of purpose to Tom's quiet life. One evening, Tom stood outside his house and admired the sunset. The sky was painted with orange and red colors. Sunny stood beside him, staring out at the same view. Tom placed his hand on the foal's neck and spoke softly. "You changed my days, little one. I did not know how empty they were until you came." Sunny leaned gently against him. It felt like an answer. As night approached, Tom guided Sunny back into the barn and prepared a soft bed of straw. The foal settled down quickly. Tom watched for a moment, feeling a calm satisfaction. He closed the barn door behind him and went inside his house. But later that night, Tom woke to a strange sound. It was a low cry from outside. His heart tightened at once. He rushed out of the house, not even bothering to put on his coat. When he reached the barn, he opened the door quickly. Sunny was standing, trembling slightly. The foal looked frightened, ears pinned back. Tom stepped forward. "What is wrong, Sunny?" He checked the foal's legs and sides. Sunny was not hurt. But then Tom understood. Thunder rumbled far off in the sky. A storm was coming. Sunny had likely never faced a storm alone before. Tom moved closer and placed both hands on the foal's neck. "It is all right. I am here." The foal rested its head against his chest. Tom stayed with Sunny inside the barn as the wind began to rise. He sat down in the straw and let Sunny lie beside him. All through the night, every time the wind shook the barn or thunder echoed across the land, Sunny pressed closer to him. Tom whispered quiet words of comfort. The storm lasted hours, but Tom did not leave Sunny's side. By dawn the sky began to clear. Tom's back hurt from sitting so long, but he did not care. Sunny slept peacefully against him. Finally calm when the foal opened its eyes and saw him, Tom smiled in relief. "I told you, little one, you are never alone here." Sunny lifted its head and nudged Tom gently, full of trust and affection. The bond between them had grown even deeper through the long night. As morning light filled the barn, Tom knew something important. He had found Sunny at a time when the foal needed him the most. But Sunny had also come at a time when Tom needed something too. Company, purpose, a reason to wake with warmth in his heart. Tom stood up slowly, stretched his arms and opened the barn door. Fresh air came inside. Sunny walked out beside him, stronger than ever. The sun rose over the land, lighting their small world once more. Tom looked at the young donkey with a smile. "Come on, Sunny. A new day waits for us." And with that they stepped together into the open yard, ready for whatever came next. The days after the storm felt brighter and calmer. The land soaked in the rain and looked greener than before. Tom noticed that even the air smelled fresh, like the whole world had been washed clean. Sunny walked with more confidence each morning, enjoying the new soft earth under the hooves. The foal no longer trembled when clouds gathered in the sky. Tom's presence gave Sunny the courage needed. One morning Tom stepped out of the house with a warm drink in hand. The sun was still low and the shadows long. He walked toward the barn as usual, expecting Sunny to greet him with excited little steps. But something surprised him. The barn door was open. Tom knew he had closed it the night before. His heart jumped a little. He hurried inside and looked around. Sunny was not lying in the straw, standing by the water bucket. For a few seconds Tom felt a heavy kind of fear. Then he heard a small sound outside. He turned around and saw Sunny in the open yard, standing proudly with head lifted and tail flicking. The foal had pushed the barn door open with its nose. Sunny took a quick step forward and bumped Tom's chest gently. Tom let out a breath. He did not realize he was holding. "So you opened the door yourself. You are growing brave, Sunny." The foal seemed proud of the small success. Tom rubbed the soft fur between Sunny's ears and smiled. That morning he decided to let Sunny roam freely around the yard. The foal followed him as he fed the chickens and checked the fences. Sunny stopped often to sniff things like buckets, tools, and even the old boots near the door. In the afternoon Tom took a rope and made a small circle training area behind the barn. He did not want to tie Sunny, just guide the movement a little. It was time for the young donkey to learn how to follow simple directions. With gentle guidance, Tom showed Sunny how to walk in small circles, stop when he raised his hand, and come forward when he called. Sunny learned quickly. The foal listened to Tom's voice and watched every movement. When Sunny followed a direction correctly, Tom gave praise and a soft rub behind the ear. The foal enjoyed each moment of attention. After a while, Tom sat on a wooden box while Sunny rested beside him. Tom looked at the young donkey and spoke in a calm voice. "There will be a time when you must walk farther with me. Maybe to town, maybe across the fields. We will go together when you are ready." Sunny pressed its head against his leg as if saying, "I will follow you anywhere." As the sun began to set, Tom guided Sunny back into the barn. The foal stood taller than when Tom first found it. The ribs were less visible and the legs stronger. Tom gave Sunny a final rub on the head before closing the barn door for the night. The next morning, Tom planned something new. He decided to take Sunny for a short walk beyond the yard. He wanted the foal to explore more of the land and get used to walking beside him without fear. Tom tied a light rope loosely around Sunny's neck, not to hold the foal tightly but only to guide gently. Sunny looked at the rope curiously. Tom patted the foal's side and spoke gently. "It is all right. Sunny, you will walk right beside me." They began walking toward a small hill behind the house. Sunny stayed close, ears twitching at each new sound. A rabbit ran across the path and Sunny stopped in surprise, but Tom kept a steady hand on the rope. The foal soon relaxed and walked again. When they reached the hill, Tom stopped and watched the wide land below. Sunny stepped beside him, looking at the open field, stretching far beyond their home. The world was large and full of unknown places. But Sunny felt safe, because Tom stood right there. Tom pointed at the horizon. One day you will run across those fields without fear. But until then, we take one step at a time. Sunny's tail flicked lightly. The foal nudged Tom's arm in a warm, gentle way. They stayed on the hill for a long time, enjoying the breeze. Tom talked about the land, the passing seasons, and his quiet life. Sunny listened, as though understanding every word. That evening Tom returned with Sunny to the barn. As he opened the door, he noticed something strange on the ground near the entrance. Hoof marks, but not Sunny's. These prints were larger and deeper. Tom knelt down and studied them. They belonged to a wild donkey, maybe more than one. He looked around the yard with care. Sunny stood beside him, ears pushing forward as if sensing something to dot. Tom placed a hand on Sunny's neck. Looks like other animals came near in the morning. Maybe they smelled the barn. He checked the fence and found one loose plank on the far side of the yard. He fixed it quickly. He did not want anything frightening Sunny at night. When he finished working, he returned to the barn to check on the foal once more. Sunny stood inside, waiting for him. The foal seemed a little tense now. Tom stepped closer, placed his hand on Sunny's cheek, and spoke softly. "There is nothing to fear. You are never alone here." Sunny relaxed after hearing Tom's voice. The next day something unexpected happened. Tom had gone to fetch water from the creek while Sunny played in the grassy field near the house. When he returned, he froze at the sight in front of him. 3 wild donkeys stood at the edge of the yard. They had approached silently. Their ears were tall and alert. They stared at Sunny with curious eyes. Sunny stood still, unsure. The foal did not run but did not step forward either. Tom set the water bucket down slowly and walked toward Sunny with calm steps. The wild donkeys sniffed the air, watching both Tom and Sunny with interest. Tom did not want to scare them. He stood beside Sunny and placed a hand on the foal's back to show he was there. Sunny's body leaned against him, seeking comfort. Tom whispered quietly, "It is all right. Stay close." One of the wild donkeys stepped forward, stretching its neck to sniff Sunny. Sunny made a small, uncertain sound. Tom stayed steady and calm. The wild donkey sniffed a little longer, then stepped back peacefully. After a few minutes, the wild donkeys slowly turned and began to walk away across the open land. Sunny watched them until they disappeared behind a hill. Tom looked down at Sunny. "They came to see you. Maybe they were curious about the young one living with me." Sunny nudged Tom gently, as if asking if everything was safe. Tom gave a warm smile and stroked the foal's neck. "You belong here, Sunny, and you are safe." That night, Sunny stayed very close to Tom while he worked in the yard. The foal's eyes followed every step he took. Tom understood the feelings behind those eyes. Sunny had faced a great loss once and did not want to face another. Tom's presence meant safety, warmth, and trust. Later in the evening, Tom sat on the porch and Sunny rested beside him. The stars appeared one by one in the sky. The night was peaceful, filled with the soft sounds of insects. Tom looked at the young donkey and spoke in a quiet, thoughtful tone. "You changed me more than you know, Sunny. I used to live only for myself. Now I think of you every moment. You gave my days a new meaning." Sunny rested its head on Tom's knee. The moment felt full, gentle, and calm. The man and the young donkey sat together under the starry sky, sharing a bond that only time and trust could build. Morning came slowly over the open land, painting gold across the sky. The ranch was quiet, and a soft wind moved across the dry grass. Inside the small barn, Rian woke up from a short sleep he had taken beside Milo. He sat up with a soft sound as he stretched his back. His body felt tired, but his heart felt light. Milo lay close to him, and the warm breath of the donkey foal brushed against his arm when Rian stood. Milo woke and pushed his small head into Rian's leg. Rian smiled and rubbed the little head. Milo had grown used to this touch, and he now waited for it each morning. Rian prepared the morning meal. He warmed the milk and mixed the powder with steady hands. He knew that Milo needed this routine. The foal stood waiting with his ears forward. When Rian placed the bucket on the ground, Milo pressed his mouth into it and drank with small hungry sounds. While Milo ate, Rian stepped outside. The yard stretched wide under the brightening sky, and the hills in the distance glowed with the soft light of morning. Rian breathed deep. He felt ready for whatever came next. He had made his decision during the night. He was not going to let anyone take Milo away. Not the ranch owner, not the market buyers, no one. Milo was staying with him. That was final. After Milo finished drinking, Rian led him outside to walk a little. The foal followed close without needing a rope. His hooves tapped softly on the dry ground as he stayed behind Rian's boots. This sight made Rian feel proud. Milo trusted him fully now. That trust meant more to Rian than anything money could give. Later that morning, an old man from the next ranch came riding to speak with Rian. The man, named Tomu, had heard a strange story about the cowboy who brought home a donkey foal that refused to leave his side. Tomu stepped down from his horse and came toward them. Tomu looked at Milo with calm eyes. He knew animals well, and he could see right away that the foal was not ready to be useful or trained. Milo was young, small, and still soft in his steps, but he also saw something else. The foal kept touching his head to Rian's arm again and again, as if making sure he was still there. Tomu smiled. He told Rian that he had come not to buy Milo but to offer help. He had raised many young animals and he knew exactly what Milo needed to grow strong. Rian thanked him with a real smile. He had been doing everything by instinct and care, not by knowledge. Advice from an experienced man would help a lot. Tomu explained how to help Milo's legs grow stronger and how much water he should drink. He even showed Rian a gentle way to brush Milo's coat so that the foal felt safe and relaxed. All the while, Milo watched them with wide and calm eyes. At one point he leaned against Rian's leg as if saying that he approved of this new man. Tomu left after some time, but before he went, he said something that stayed with Rian. You saved this little one, and he has saved something in you too. Do not forget that. Rian did not answer right away, but he felt something warm settle in his chest. The words were true. As days passed, Milo grew stronger, his legs steadied, and he learned to walk longer distances around the ranch without tiring. He learned to follow Rian even without being called. When Rian worked in the yard, Milo stood near him. When Rian fixed a fence, Milo lay down in the shade close by. They became a pair that no one could separate. Every evening Rian took Milo to the pasture behind the barn. The sky would turn orange, and the wind would carry the smell of earth and grass. Milo would walk beside him and then run short jumps across the open land. His ears would move in excitement, and his tail would flick as he played. These moments healed something deep inside Rian. He had lived many years without softness. His days had been about hard work, long rides, and empty nights. But Milo brought a new meaning to his life. The foal depended on him, trusted him, and looked for him in every moment. One day the ranch owner returned. He had heard about Milo from others and had come to see him himself. Rian tensed when he saw the man approach. He stood in front of Milo with a straight back, ready to protect him if he had to. The ranch owner looked at Rian and then at the foal. He saw how Milo stayed close behind Rian's leg. He saw how the foal touched Rian's hand with quiet affection. He watched the bond between them, and something changed in his expression. After a long silence he spoke. I planned to sell the foal when you brought him, but now I see it. This little one belongs with Rian, breathed out in relief. The tension in his shoulders dropped. He thanked the owner with real gratitude. Milo seemed to sense the moment too, because he pressed his head against Rian's arm and stayed there. Once the owner left, Rian leaned down and touched Milo's head. The foal made a soft sound and closed his eyes. From that day forward, Milo became an official part of the ranch, not his property but his family. Rian built a better shelter for him with extra shade. He set up a small water area Milo could splash in when the heat rose. He brushed Milo every evening and checked his legs every morning. Their bond became known across the nearby ranches. People who visited often smiled when they saw Milo follow Rian like a loyal shadow. Some said they had never seen a cowboy and a donkey foal so deeply connected. Months passed, and Milo grew taller and stronger. His steps became sure. His coat grew soft and clean. But even as he grew, his behavior toward Rian never changed. He still pressed his head against Rian's shoulder every morning. He still searched the yard for him if he walked away for even a moment. One afternoon, as Rian worked on a fence near the hill, a storm began forming in the distance. The wind picked up, and the sky turned darker. Rian hurried to finish, but the clouds moved fast. Thunder rolled across the sky. Rian started heading back, but Milo, who had been playing nearby, panicked at the loud sound. The foal ran toward Rian and pressed into him for comfort. Rian placed a hand on Milo's neck and spoke in a calm voice, guiding him toward shelter. Inside the barn, Milo stood close to Rian as the thunder echoed again. Rian stroked his back until the young foal relaxed. That moment reminded Rian of the day he found Milo beside his mother. The fear in Milo then and now came from the same place. But now, Milo was not alone. When the storm passed, they stepped outside. The world smelled fresh, and the air felt cool. Rian watched Milo walk in the soft mud, leaving small prints behind. He smiled because those prints were not just marks on the ground. They were marks on his life too. As evening came, Rian sat on a wooden step outside the barn. Milo lay beside him with his body warm and calm. Rian placed a gentle hand on his head. "You changed me, little one," he whispered softly. "You came into my life crying over loss, but you gave me something I did not know I needed." Milo made a quiet sound as if answering him. The sky turned deep blue and the first stars appeared. Rian leaned back and looked at them. Milo rested his head on Rian's boot. Their journey had not been planned. It had not been easy at the start, but it had brought them both a new home and a new meaning. The cowboy had saved the donkey foal. The donkey foal had saved the cowboy. And from that day forward, they walked through life together, their bond unbroken and their hearts forever connected.